is a presentation of WGN Sports.
We are coming to you from Kauffman Stadium in the heart of Mid-America, Kansas City, Missouri, where this afternoon WGN Sports presents White Sox baseball. As Paul Konerko, Joe Crede, Jim Thome and the Sox as they get set to butt heads with Mike Sweeney, Reggie Sanders, and Buddy Bell's Kansas City Royals. Hi, everybody, and welcome. With DJ Darren Jackson, I'm Ken Harrelson. We get set to bring you game 2 of this 3-game series. In the opener, the first road game of 06 for the Sox last night. They had a 6-run lead. They scored 5 in the first, 1 in the third. They led it 6-0, and they lost it 11-7. So the Sox come in at 1-3. Kansas City is 1-2. And this afternoon, making his first start in the Sox uniform, Javier Vazquez.
Javier Vazquez, a very good starting pitcher, and we need him to be exactly that today because so far in the early part of our season, we've only had one starter that's gone out there and been pretty strong. That's been Jose Contreras. So Javier today has got to step it up and get things in order for our starting pitching. He's going against Denny Batista. Batista, a good, young, right-handed pitcher for the Royals. We have seen him in spring training and in the past. We have got to get to this guy early.
All right, sit back, relax, and strap it down. And White Sox baseball coming your way.
World Champion Chicago White Sox baseball is brought to you by Miller. There's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call. Toyota, a great way to keep moving forward. Pepsi, the official soft drink of the world champion Chicago White Sox. The Illinois Lottery. No matter how you play the Illinois Lottery. Have a ball. By Ford, built for Chicago, built for the road ahead. And by Southwest Airlines. Whether you're traveling for business or pleasure, Southwest can get you there with over 3,000 nonstop daily flights to over 60 destinations. Visit southwest.com today.
Back here at Kauffman Stadium, sitting down with reliever Brandon McCarthy. Brandon, it's to me, we're only in game 4 of the season, but tell me, all through spring training, the early part of this year, it just doesn't seem like the team has quite gotten into rhythm and sync yet. Would you feel the same way at this point?
I think so, and I think it happens with a lot of teams early in the season. You come out of the gates and everything's still a little new. Going into spring training, I think the short off season might have affected some people, but I think we're going to get there, and I think right now I think we've shown we're not far off. It's just a couple things here and there, and we've hit the ball well lately. Some things just haven't fallen. I think once those balls start falling, things will change.
You know, I was thinking about on the bus ride over to the ballpark today. Is that something that maybe the relievers, when you're out there during the game, do you guys kind of look at the game and just analyze and think, okay, we need to get clicking on this or that?
A little bit. I think a lot of us are just trying to relax, get ourselves prepared to when we have to get into a game. I'm not sure how much analyzing is going on. There's little things here and there. We noticed some hitters that are guys yesterday had 4 strikeouts, something like that for their team. You're noticing who's weak, who's hitting the ball well. But we don't try and analyze everything too much. It's more fun down there than anything.
Well, you know, there's been a lot of questions about Brandon McCarthy is going to be relieving instead of starting, and the concern was, is he going to need more time to get ready? Is that an issue with you?
Not really, and I've found pretty well that my arm is responding quickly. There are days like last night and colder days like today, this first month, where I might need a little more time than I will come May and June, where I think a couple throws there and I think I'll be ready to go. I don't need as much time as I thought I do.
I want to ask you something about, you know, you're not a guy that throws 100 miles an hour, but over your career through the minor leagues, you've been pretty much a power pitcher, striking out tons of guys along the way. What would you say to some of the young kids that aren't flamethrowers, but, you know, they want to still be strikeout type pitchers? Anything you want to teach these young kids?
I'd say just find your control. Find some way to get your mechanics solid to where you can throw consistent strikes, and then just be able to change speeds from there. Not all of us were blessed with Bobby Jenks and Matt Thornton stuff where we can throw 100 and blow it by people. You kind of got to place it around them or change speeds, confuse them. And I think it's more fun to pitch that way, and that's probably because I've never pitched on the other end of that spectrum. But I think that's the best thing for a young kid to do is learn how to control their stuff, change speeds, And I think in the long run, if you end up having that great stuff too, then you're twice the pitcher you could be.
Is there any particular key, this is the last question that I want to ask, any particular key when you and Don Cooper are working together that you have to focus on if you're a little out of sync?
Staying back a half second longer is when I lift my leg to start my mechanics. Sometimes I do that too quickly, which leads me to jump. Just leads to bad location, bad stuff. And if I stay slow with lifting that leg up and staying on my back leg, everything stays in sync. I'm in a better rhythm and I tend to throw a little better.
Well, we know what to keep an eye on for Brandon if things aren't going well. Thank you, Brandon, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be back with the lineups right after this. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. While we have a moment, let's see what's coming your way over WGN.
Time is of the essence. Don't miss a minute of the critically acclaimed 24 with Kiefer Sutherland. Sunday at 8 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
Danny Batista started his warm-up tosses, so let's go ahead and get right after it and show you our Pepsi batting order. As again, since these 9 out, it's going to be Pasednik today leading off, Iguchi and Tomei. Konerko, H.A. Pierzynski, Joe Crede, Koviak, Uribe, and Anderson. You see Crede loves it here at Kauffman Stadium. The defensive setup for these Kansas City Royals today is Brown, Costa, and Sanders in the outfield. Tien, Baroa, Grzelcyk, Minkiewicz, the infield. That's a mouthful on the right side. And Baco does the catching. Batista, last season, 2-2 of 5. 8-0 earned run average. Opponents hit 346 against him. In his career, brief career, he's a youngster, he's just 2-6. Our umpires this afternoon are in this order. Crew chiefs, Bruce Fleming at home plate, Mike Winters at first, Ryan Runge down at second, and Paul Emmel did a nice job in last night's blustery conditions at third. Danny Batista showed you in the open. He had a nice spring. He is 2-1 with a 3 earned run average during spring training and 24 innings. He picked up 19 strikeouts. All right, we're ready to play some baseball. Second game of the series here from Kauffman Stadium. So let's send it over to the play-by-play man, Ken the Hawk Harrelson.
All right, DJ, thank you. And once again, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here with WGN Sports. So happy you could join us for game 2 of this 3-game set. Scott Pasednik looking for his first hit of the season. He is 0 for 13. Will lead it off against the 25-year-old right-hander. So 1 pitch, 1 out. Sox come in hitting at .268 as a club with a 6.57 team ERA. As here's Tadahito Iguchi, and here at beautiful Kauffman Stadium, 330 down the lines, 385 in the gaps, and 410 straightaway center. Gucci 1 for 4 last night, 5 for 11 on the season. So Danny Bautista, I mentioned 25 years old, 6'5", 190 pounds, out of Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. Got a good arm. There's a strike. And the count 2-1. It is a beautiful but cold day here in Kansas City, especially in the shade. That's low, 3-1.
I'm looking over at my partner, and he's got an icicle hanging from the tip of his nose.
I wish it was an icicle.
Oh, my bad.
That's tough foul. I got my hanky on the ready. Full count to Iguchi. Outfield around to the right slightly. Ball 4 base hit. And another souvenir. Not a bad crowd on hand. Had a good crowd last night. Royals, their first 3 home games, averaging over 25,000.
That's very good.
Now we mentioned there's ball 4. So the 1-out walk. And right now, let's check out our picks to click. Jim Angio, our director of the crew, went with Juan Uribe, Sylvia, Mike, Alex, Nariana, and DJ going to go with Scott Posednik and Nico Hawthorne. Krista Hawthorne and Chet Hawthorne and I are going to go with Joe Creedy. And of course, our picks to click brought to you by Southwest Airlines, where you can click southwest.com for low fares.
Well, so far the early part of the season, opponents have been aggressive against us, running the base pass, taking the extra bases, and trying to steal some. We have 3 bags as a team so far. I'd like to see us get aggressive early.
Jim Thome looking for it, got it just underneath it. Thome 1 for 3 last night, 4 for 12 on the season to go along with those 2 homers and 3 knocked in.
You know, in most cases, you, as a base runner with Jim Thome up there, want to have that first baseman holding you on. But heck, with a shift like this, it really doesn't matter. There's hardly any holes on that side of the infield. So if you get a jump, take the bag. Iguchi had 15 of them last year.
Well, believe me, the only 2 guys that are really nervous about this defensive set is the pitcher Bautista and the first baseman Minkiewicz.
That's it. Minkiewicz would gladly like to stand behind Iguchi.
That's not a good feeling playing first base when you got somebody this strong at the plate. Left-handed hitter.
You know, the funny thing is, I don't know how we could really relay the sensation of being that close to somebody that hits the ball this hard.
Scared.
I mean,
that's all. Scared.
You just don't have much time to react.
Well, one thing about it, you either want to be way back or way in. You do not want to be caught when that ball is going to hit the dirt unless you're way back. I know playing first base one year against the Giants in Phoenix, Willie Mays walked as there's a strike on the inside corner. And I was playing first base and Willie McCovey was the next hitter. And we were grabbing each other and dancing around trying to get one to protect yourself and put him in front of you.
Oh, I can see that.
So 1 out and the payoff, there he goes as he pops him up.
Tien
makes the catch.
Looked like he had a little trouble there, made an adjustment nicely at the end. Ball got in on Thome, and Mark Tien went straight back. But the thing was, he got back there quick enough to where he can look back up and make the adjustment to the ball being blown around by the wind.
Now here's Paulie. Paulie 3 for 5 last night. A couple of RBIs, 4 for 18 on the season. Paulie also scored 3 runs last evening. If you missed that game last night, believe me, it was Ugley. Ugley conditions to play in, and Ugley played. The ball gets away, and Tadahito will move into scoring position. It was frigid here last evening with bad wind.
Yeah, some bad things happened, as you'll see. Pablo Ozuna went back thinking the ball was coming right to him and had to make the adjustment. Didn't work. Then he went over and then tried to get back and make an adjustment off the bat of Sweeney. Couldn't do it. That led to 5 runs in that ball game. All of them turned out to be earned, and unfortunately John Garland was the recipient of those.
Yeah, we gave him 6 in all. Of course, they had to play under the same conditions, and they only gave us 1.
That's it. You do really have to say, all things considered, 2 teams, same conditions. Who's going to mess up the most? Well, last night it turned out to be the Sox.
2 out, 1-1 to count to Konerko. Gap in right center. Breaking ball, no. Finale of the series tomorrow afternoon. Mark Burley against Scott Ellerton. 6'7" right-hander. That game will be over Comcast Sportsnet. Then it's off to Detroit. 3-game set there, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Close pitch didn't get it, and the count 3-1. And the payoff. We'll check that 3-1. Now it's the payoff.
That was a pretty darn good pitch by Bautista. Even if you're looking for that fastball, had that tailing movement, just catching the inside corner could eat you up, shatter that bat in half if you go after it.
The 3-2. And that's the second walk of the inning, and that'll bring up Pierzynski.
Really amazing. Still think about 3-2 counts in today's baseball compared to early 90s, 80s, and everything before that. When you got a 3-2 count, you really did have a pretty good chance of having a ball thrown within the strike zone that you could be ready to attack, and generally it was going to be a fastball. In today's baseball, they love to get you to chase stuff out of the strike zone, and rarely is it a fastball.
AJ. He pinch hit last night, went 0 for 1. Popped up short. It was to end the ball game. Well, probably the difference in that is in the 50s and the 60s. 3-2 count with a guy like Bautista with that kind of arm. On a scale of 1 to 10, it was probably a 9.9 that you were going to get a fastball 3-2.
Yeah, that's amazing how there are so many good fastball pitchers that when they get in that count, they realize that the hitter has to be so defensive, covering anything close, that they can entice them to swing at sliders and change-ups out of the strike zone. So why go at them with that good fastball?
Well, I think that's one of the things that's wrong in many areas today in the game of baseball, as far as the thought process goes, is that everything is don't do this and don't do that and don't do this and don't do that. And he just blows him away right there, and that'll retire the side after having a play. It's a good guys nothing, and the Royals coming to bat.
Time to take a look at Buddy Bell's batting order this afternoon. Shane Costa, Mark Grzlanek, and Mike Sweeney has started off. Sweeney has owned the Sox in his career. Sanders, Minkevich, Brown, Tian, Baroa, Baco. Let's check out the Pepsi defense of Pasednik, Anderson, and Makoviak in the outfield. Crete, Uribe, Iguchi, Konerko in the infield. Battery of Pierzynski and Javi Vasquez. Vasquez 11 and 15 last year with a .442 earned run average, but just a .266 batting average against him. A lot of strikeouts. He's always been towards the top of the league in that category.
Out of Ponce, Puerto Rico is Vasquez. So here is Shane Costa, the center fielder, in place of David DeJesus, who had to leave the ball game last night with a bit of a strained hamstring. Costa 1 for 3 on the season with a homer. I mentioned he looked good against us in spring training. It was a high. So 1 out.
Just watching Scott Pasednik in this situation already. Conditions coming into play, flipping the glasses down, dealing with the wind, but he knew how to get over there softly and underneath it to make the grab.
So here's Grzlanek. 2 for 4 with 3 runs scored last evening. Takes a strike. Well, between Grzlanek and Minkevich, they have set a new major league record for a number of letters and last names. They have 24, 12 each. And that is laced into right field. Makoviak, watch out, don't let it get away. Now he'll get it back in. That ball could have easily gotten away and gone for 3, maybe 4.
That's a key in this ballpark, is knowing how to handle those corners, those rounded left and right field corners. Grudslanik, who is very good at slicing balls down that right field line. It jumps on Makoviak, really skips and takes off. And he did a nice job smothering it and getting it back in. As Hawk said, if it got past Rob on that, Grudslanik could have just kept running and running.
Well, here's Sweeney. He was 1 for 3 with 3 walks last evening. But yeah, Grudslanik and Minkiewicz taking over the record. According to Stats LLC, the combined total of 24 letters in the club's last name beats out the 22-letter combo of Joe Cunningham and Red Schoendienst from the 1954 St. Louis Cardinals.
I read that yesterday and I thought to myself, hey, that's interesting, but also too much information. But it's not a lot of fun.
You're saying that's too much information? You're saying that's too much?
You better believe it.
Shoot.
Hey, let me tell you. When I was looking at that and thinking to myself, but I have to actually go over this defense and say Grudslanik and Minkiewicz. I couldn't spell either one without looking at it first. It's definitely a mouthful.
So here is the 1-strike pitch to Sweeney. 32-year-old DH who has had some problems. As that's low. Sweeney has faced Vasquez 3 times and has 1 hit. Grudslanik, coming into that game last night, was hitless on the season. He was 0 for 8, then went 0 for 9 before he picked up his first hit. There's a breaking ball, jammed himself with it and fouls it away.
Javier Vasquez got the kind of pitch where you can definitely jam yourself. Some of them he can back up. Other ones he can have really bite. Looked like Sweeney felt that was the one that was going to be biting, and it wasn't.
Outfield about equidistant, slightly to the left. Sweeney, especially against good pitching, will use the whole field. Out in front.
Javier Vasquez in his career 2-0 against the Royals with a 120 earned run average. 15 innings pitched total, just 2 walks and 12 strikeouts. So his second time around in the American League, just 1 year spent in the AL with the Yankees. All the rest over in the National League.
He gone.
He can strike some people out, even good ones. Right now, Mike Sweeney, you see, stopping and talking to Reggie Sanders, giving him a little information. Looked like that ball just had a second gear as Sweeney was starting after it, and it just jumped up there into the catcher's mitt before he can catch up.
Now Reggie Sanders has had 28 more bats against Vasquez than Sweeney.
So he has a better idea, huh?
He's 7 for 31 with a homer. Sanders 2 for 4 last night with a ribby. No score here in the bottom of the first if you're just tuning in. Second of this 3-game set. .38-year-old veteran got a fastball, good pitch to hit, pops it up. He's upset with himself. Now Uribe making the call. He's got the ball, and that'll retire the side. After 1, there is no score. First pitch strike to Joe Crede, leading off here in the top of the second. Crede 2 for 5 last night with an RBI, 3 for 11 on the season. Takes that 94-mile-an-hour fastball up high to even the count at 1. Ball hit high and deep into left field. Stretch, get on back there. No, that wind's going to knock it down. That ball was killed.
Yes, it was. You know, when it left Creedy's bat, he felt, all right, this has got a chance. Didn't even make the warning track. All right, fans, Sunday, April 23rd, the White Sox are going to host the Twins at 105. The first 20,000 fans will receive a mini collector's ballpark. For tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com. I don't know what a mini collector's ballpark is, but I'm sure it's nice.
Koviak takes first pitch fastball strike. Rob 1 for 3 last night with just a terrific catch in right field. Rob on the season 3 for 11 with 3 RBIs. Two and one. That is a souvenir left side.
Yeah, that play by Rob down that right field line last night. I can't get any better than that, that's for sure.
Just got a piece of it.
All out, fully laid out. Watch this. Man, right when he made contact with the ground. What a play.
Ball hit right at the center fielder. Shane Costa makes a catch. 2 down. So here's our shortstop, Juan Uribe. 3 for 5 with an RBI last night. Takes ball 1. Tien sucks it up. The peg. 1-2-3 inning for Bautista, and after an inning and a half, no score. Doug Mientkiewicz will lead it off for Kansas City. Takes that curveball strike. Mientkiewicz 0 for 4 last night, but he did knock in a pair. That's what he did last season. 11 homers, 29 RBIs for the Metropolitans. Now that's some K Solo right there.
Yes, it is. That's not hitting them when they're out there for you to hit.
That's souvenir.
Mientkiewicz is the defensive kind of first baseman. Whatever offense he brings to you is a bonus. More like the kind of you'd put in the number 2 slot, even if he is a first baseman. Contact kind of hitter.
The 1-2 pitch. Nice pick by Uribe. Mientkiewicz swinging the bat pretty good. A couple balls hard last evening, even though he was 0 for 4.
Javi Vasquez fortunately did not have that hit his hand, as Juan Uribe was positioned perfectly on that tough hop to get the easy out.
Emil Brown out of Chicago. He was 2 for 4 last night with a ribby. Takes ball 1. Taking the slate of action around the American League. Other games will show Tampa Bay at Toronto. That's Wachter against Lilly. Boston at Baltimore. Schilling against Chin. Curveball. Cleveland hosting Minnesota. That's Baker against Johnson. Detroit 4-0 on the season at Texas. Verlander against Millwood. Seattle at home against Oakland. Zito against Moyer. That's up high. And the Yankees taking on the Angels, and Anaheim Johnson against Santana.
A couple of 4-0 teams. Milwaukee also 4-0.
Yeah, they're going to be at home against Arizona. That's Webb against Davis. Other National League action shows Florida at New York, Pittsburgh at Cincinnati, Cubs at home hosting the Cardinals. And there's ball 4. Dodgers will be taking on the Phillies. And Philadelphia, Atlanta at San Francisco, Washington at Houston, and San Diego at home hosting the Rockies. Here's Mark Teahen. 1 for 5 last night with 4 strikeouts. Teahen 1 for 11 on the season with 7 strikeouts. Takes fastball strike. Outfield shading him to the left. There's a huge gap in right center. Turns that one over, sinks it away. Royals last year 56 and 106. They will not be that, have that record or even approach it this year.
No, I definitely can envision the Royals in the mid-70s at least in wins this season.
One and 2 the count. Well, they have some veteran players that they have added. They're just getting ready to get a couple of pitchers back as well.
Very difficult for a team that has won 56 games one year, all of a sudden turn it around and win 90 games.
There goes the runner. Yes, he's gone. High throw. He's safe.
That's the one thing the last couple of years that we have not done at a high percentage rate is throw base stealers out.
Now, most of our right-handers, with the exception of Garland, most of our right-handed pitchers last few years have not helped out our catching. Of course, Burley is Burley. As here's Baroa. Takes that curveball high and in. 28-year-old shortstop, former Rookie of the Year, was 2 for 4 last night with a big hit in that ball game. Maybe the biggest hit in the ball game, a 2-out, 2-run double.
After that, it was just followed up by a couple of more hits and runs.
Creedy with a pick, the peg. Yes, nice play, Joe Creedy, and that'll retire the side. We're into the 3rd. It's the top of the 3rd inning. Brian Anderson. Oh, and 1 to count. Brian 1 for 4 last night, 3 for 12 on the season. Breaking ball and very quickly 0 and 2. Good eye.
Boy, Batista just wasting no time. That last pitch very close to being strike 3, but it appears that he just wants to go right after Brian Anderson.
96-mile-an-hour fastball. 2 and 2.
And then he kind of falls off to the side and shoots that fastball in on the right-handers. Very deceptive with the body language and then the release of the ball.
1 out.
Dennis Batista has let that fastball tail on that inside corner, eating the right-hander up.
Here's Pides, tried to bunt on the first pitch of the ball game, popped it up to Teahen at 3rd. Tien now right at the cut of the grass at third as that pitch low and away. Outfield swung around to the left. Bit of a gap in right center. A lot of room between Sanders and that right field line. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, the one great thing about having speed and being able to bunt is it brings those corners up and gives you the chance to slap stuff right by them.
Tien picks it up.
But you can't hit it right at him. There you see Mark Tien not having to do much, just lean to his left and go.
Here's Higuchi. He walked. Tyler Hito off to a good start offensively. We mentioned 5 for 11 after really having a very poor offensive spring.
He's driven in a couple of runs. Matter of fact, everybody in the starting lineup today for the White Sox has at least 1 run batted in.
Two and one. Club just has not hit a rhythm yet. Sometimes it takes a while, as there's a one hopper. Minkiewicz has got it. He'll take it himself. That is 7 in a row retired by the 25-year-old right-hander, and we're still scoreless. .33-year-old veteran receiver Paul Bacco getting his first official at bat of the season. No score. Yeah, that's right off the end of the bat. Creedy gonna let it go, and it is foul. No runs, no hits, no errors for our guys. No runs, 1 hit, no errors for their guys.
Well, I remember many a time as a hitter, not real easy at the major league level to get hits against good pitchers. If I hit a little squiver like that down the line and was getting down there close to first, I was hoping it stayed fair. He didn't care if it was a little cheap swinging bunt. It was going to be a base hit. And you look down there and the guy's standing in the foul territory holding the ball. You got to go back over there now, actually try and earn your way on.
A 1 strike delivery. Breaking ball, and it's 1-2. Vasquez, 11 victories away from 100. He has lost 93 times. Last year with the D-backs, made 33 starts, had 3 complete games and a shutout. He gone. Yes.
Yes, it was. Boy, Paul Bacco almost looked like, what the heck is this? He was not prepared for a fastball with that kind of pace on it. Almost just straightened him up. Just explodes out of Javi's. Look at him. He jumps straight up in the air, not knowing what the heck to do as it tailed back to the inside corner.
Shane Costa popped up to Pasetnik. Just off the inside corner. Good try. The fastball at 94. Another high pop up. And that's going to be back into the seats.
And fans, a reminder that every home game this year, the first 25,000 fans will receive a Best Buy game card redeemable for a $10 gift card when you spend 100 or more at Best Buy locations. See stores for details.
We mentioned Costa looked good against us in spring training, and there's a base hit. Young man looks like he knows what's going on up there at the plate.
Yeah, he has a pretty patient approach, it looks like. Sits there relaxed, sees the ball, and reacts. Well, a rock and fire pretty much with that swing. Mark Grudzielanek, who doubled down the right field line in his first at bat.
Watch out. Talked about Costa looking good. There was another young player, Alex Gordon, #1 player picked out of Nebraska last year. And he hit home run and a double last night down in Wichita. Funny thing about that is that he only impressed us on one swing. And it was a pop-up.
Oh my goodness, that high pop up to left field. He's a left-handed hitter. It had more hang time than a Ray Guy punt.
Yeah, he had a double and a 3-run homer in his professional debut last night.
Yeah, the ball jumped off that young man's bat, didn't it?
Yeah. Hit him on the fist. Good pitch. Ate him up. Pods. 2 down.
Former Montreal teammates Grudzielanek and Vasquez. Javier Vasquez, even though Mark got around that first fastball in and hit a bullet foul, he went right back in there and said, see if he can do it twice, and he couldn't. Couldn't catch up to it.
Here's Sweeney. Sweeney struck out swinging his first trip. Vasquez with 3 punch-outs. Boy, this guy reminds me so much of Jim Thome. There's a good curveball strike. There's a knee buckler right there. Overhanded Yellowhammer. Uncle Charlie.
You say he reminds you of Jim Thome in which way?
Just does. His demeanor, real professional. They say he is just a terrific individual, like Thome. And both pretty good hitters.
Every time I've ever talked to Mike, he definitely comes across as one of the better people you're going to meet in this business.
As Thome is.
No question. You know, there's the top rung, the rung below, you know, and he's up there at the top rung.
Big hack.
But very competitive, both of them, huh? Doesn't translate into their actions as athletes.
No, it doesn't. Or they wouldn't, between the two of them, be making close to $30 million a year.
Yeah. That's all right to be a super nice guy, and we could talk about them, knowing them personally. But the minute you step in that batter's box or on that pitcher's mound or wherever it is out there on the field, all of a sudden you got to frown up and be ready to go as if you are going against the enemy now. And those guys know how to do it.
So 2 out, 1 and 2 the count. Costa. Just a decent lead over there at first. He does not go. And another foul tip.
Costa over at first base. Not like David DeJesus. Not your typical leadoff guy in the sense of gonna steal bases. They don't run much.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out here in the bottom of the third in this scoreless ball game. Sox have had 2 base runners, both via the walk from Denny Bautista. And the Royals have had 3 2 hits and 1 walk. Slow curve, he gone, and that'll do it. We're into the 4th.
Tonight, Captain Cook and the Bulls tip off against AI and the Sixers. Tonight at 8 on Superstation WGN.
Jim Thome will lead it off for the good guys here at the top of the 4th. No score. Thome 0 for 1. Popped up to Mark Teahen at 3rd as they have the shift on once again. And that pitch low and away. Sox no hits. Royals 2 hits. And Sox fans, log on to 3w.wgntv.com and check out Hawk and DJ's blog. You can find game notes for today's game versus the Royals and DJ's online welcome to Jim Thome. And of course, the WGN TV White Sox blog is sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts. I love donuts.
Do you love to dunk them?
When I used to drink coffee, I did. So with a count 2-2 to Thome, let's pause for station identification.
This is America's home for sports all year round. Superstation WGN.
DJ Darren Jackson, Ken Harrelson from Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City.
All right,
Second of
Jimmy.
this 3-game set.
Excuse me. We need to get this offense kick-started right here with Thome. And got to get Bautista early. We haven't been able to, so better late than never. That one stays high.
All 4 base hit right here, 25. Paul Konerko on deck. He did not go, and there's the leadoff walk. So here's Polly. Polly walked his first trip.
The offense really has not done a bad job the early part of this season. We've scored some runs. Just haven't gotten it together with the pitching and defense. Even though we have only the 3 walks today. Mention everybody in this lineup through 4 games has driven in a run. It usually takes some guys up to 5, 6, 7, 8 games into the season before they've gotten their first RBI.
Very quickly, the count 0-2 to Konerko. As I talked about last night, you know, the thing is that last year, one of the key factors in the Sox run to that World Championship was that very few balls hit the ground in the outfield. And you had Pasednik, Rowan, and Jermaine Dye. And so far, our defense has not been there with. That's back through the middle into center field. Attaboy, Paulie. So you can cancel the post-game show now. Thome makes the turn. Looked like he gave a little 2-step deke right there and then turned it on.
Yeah, I like what Jimmy did. Thome, who does not possess great speed, was running hard all the way to second base and keeping an eye on where that ball was compared to that center fielder. And once he realized he's not quite to it yet, look at Jimmy. He's keeping an eye on this. And then he just says right here, you know what? I can get there. He turns it on. Big tank coming into third base, gets there. Good aggressive base running.
So Thome moving into third, runners at the corners. And here's AJ. AJ struck out. You're going to have to dial it up a little bit. Last time he just got blown away by Bautista. There it is at 96, foul down. But defense was our key last year, with pitching being the first line of defense.
I have a feeling it's not going to take long. These guys really, if you think about it, it's just been the last maybe 8, 9, 10 games or so that they've played together as a unit. They'll come together pretty quickly.
Checks it up, takes it high and wide, 1-1. Sounded like Dan Galligani right down there.
Yeah, it did. Well, AJ not having a lot of fun against Bautista.
No.
This is where you just got to pretty much choke up and start thinking about punching at the ball. If you can't catch up to that kind of fastball with your regular swing, make an adjustment. Especially in these RBI situations. That is, unless you're a big home run hitting number 4 type guy. AJ is not that. He's just been a good hitter over his career.
He's trying to get it together mentally. That's slowing away, 2-2. Sometimes you just can't do it. Sometimes you get a guy out there on the mound that you just don't pick up the ball on, and regardless of what you try to call up mentally, it's just not going to work.
Yeah, that's a good point. Bautista does that falling off and then shooting it away from the left-handers.
Oh, there's a big strikeout for Bautista, and that'll bring up Creedy.
And he did it again. You'll notice Vinny Bautista, that left front shoulder flies open, which creates good movement away from the left-handed hitters. It just looks like he's rearing back and throwing it by AJ, but it also has good movement tailing away from him.
Now, if you did not see Joe's first at bat leading off the second, he just killed one. High, and that was a problem. Too high. Got up in that wind and just knocked it down as that breaking ball taken low and away. Out and around the fastball, and the count evens at 1. You missed that first at bat. A normal day, or the wind blowing slightly out, that ball had a chance to be up in those waterfalls. And now Bautista on top of Creedy, 1-2.
I'll tell you right now, Bautista's nasty, no question, but even against the best of the best, you get these situations, you got to somehow get that man in from third base. If it's not the first guy, the second man has got to make contact.
Count evens. Got a bristle up right here, 24. That'll get the job done. That ball here well into center field. Costa's back there. So Thome, he'll tag, he'll score, and it is 1-0 Sox.
All right, that was a heck of a result. As Joe Creedy at that last swing just reached out and punched that baseball and drove it deep into center field. What we're talking about here is the fact that you do not have to overswing to get the job done. Look at this little flick of the bat, and that ball went way out there. I'll need a big swing to get the job done with a man on third base and less than 2 outs.
Especially when you're facing a guy like Bautista.
Let him provide the power.
Here's Makoviak. He lined out hard to Costa in center field. Nice block by Baco.
Like to send out happy birthday to the White Sox general manager Kenny Williams. Belated a couple of days ago for Kenny. Happy birthday from up here in the booth, and also from your wife Jessica and kids.
Ditto. Kenneth. Two balls and a strike. Nipped the inside corner with that one. So 2 out, 2-2 the count. That dreaded leadoff walk to Thome. And a single by Konerko. Good base running by Jim. And the Sox get on the board. They lead it 1-0.
Hey, McMillan, you gelling?
I'm gelling and Zinfandel, and so's my new bride, Helen McMillan.
I'm so happy my eyes are welling.
Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles are so soft, they make your feet feel outrageously comfortable.
I'm gelling.
You're so not gelling.
Dr. Scholl's.
1-0 good guys here in the bottom of the fourth. Reggie Sanders a cleanup hitter will lead it off. Reggie got a good pitch to hit last time. Popped it up to Uribe at short as there's a curveball strike. Sox a run on a hit. Royals no runs on 2 hits. And that's foul straight back. 0-2. Outfield playing him straight up. Greedy way back and well off the line at third. He gone. Ace right on the outside corner.
And a reminder, fans, if you're always traveling and missing White Sox games, well, you can watch online whenever you're away from Chicago exclusively from MLB.tv. WhiteSox.com has more live games than anyone else. WhiteSox.com, where baseball is always on.
Here's Minkiewicz. Hit the ball hard, grounded out to Uribe. It's short. Fastball strike. Vasquez. Variance of about 5 miles an hour in his fastball.
Yeah, he has got that extra second gear when he needs it. He's got good
From
stuff.
89 to 94.
I mean, that little cutter right there, slider, hard, slow, biting curveball. He's going to strike a lot of guys out.
One and two.
Thinking back when he completely dominated our offense when he joined the American League for the first time with the Yankees. And we really had no chance a couple of times, a couple of starts he made against us. He has got to be one of the tougher guys to actually get a good swing against.
Just got a piece of the fastball at 93. Just joining us, a beautiful but cold day here in the heart of Mid-America. Tried to backdoor him, and it's 2-2. So a full count.
Javier Vasquez has already shown that he wants to sneak that fastball up on some of the hitters, but he also, because of a pretty good changeup with movement, can throw that in this count.
And there it was. Pods.
Well, all you have to do is know that you've got everybody sitting over there watching and realizing you're sneaking the fastball up on them. They're going to be concerned in that kind of 2-strike count. Get them out in front of the changeup.
Well, one reason he can be so tough. One reason he can be so tough is he's got a nice repertoire, and he'll throw them at any time. He has confidence in each and every one of them. He gives you a chance as a hitter to outdumb yourself.
Yeah, I'm just looking at him and realize he would not be fun to hit against. I did not face Vasquez in my career, but I had some guys, and Hawk has the proof in writing over there, that I did not like to face, and this would have been one of them. Ramon Martinez was a nightmare. Very nasty, a lot like Batista's pretty nasty also, but so is Vasquez. Both these guys can get you out.
That ball hit high and deep in the left center field. That was a changeup. Wind's got it. Forget about it. Once he gets up that high, even though the wind has subsided appreciably, there's still 1-0 Sox. First pitch to Juan Uribe here in the top of the 5th. Slider low and away. 1 0 for 1, grounded out to Mark Teahen at third base. 1-0 Sox. And the count 2-0. Sox with a 1-1 on just one hit. Single by Konerko. There's a strike. Gap out there in right center. Big 6'5" right-hander. Just 190 pounds. Tall, lanky, but what a nice arm.
Yeah, their version of Brandon McCarthy.
And there's the leadoff walk.
Well, this time of year, I've always felt that the pitchers have the advantage because of the cool weather, and they get to stay a little bit warmer, easier than the hitters. Blows me away when I look up at out-of-town scores and see a 14-9 type game. We've seen a couple of them already with us, but that's been conditions or wind blowing out, stuff like that. But overall, pitchers, I think they got the edge once the season starts in this cold weather.
Brian Anderson. Struck out, called out on a good fastball from Bautista. Brian taking a long look down at Joey Coro. Teeing at the cut of the grass at third. Second short, double play depth as the count 0-2.
Just watching Bautista so far in this game, he's worked right-handers in pretty well, left-handers away. The way he falls off, it seems like the natural release point for him is the outside corner to lefties, inside corner to righties. That last pitch, Brian Anderson pulling off of a bit as it was away.
On the inside corner. 1 out. Well, we're seeing what we're doing with Brian lately is we're seeing him go very quickly. 0-1-0-2.
Boy, that is a tough pitch to have called on you, as it appeared to be a bit inside.
So here's Potts. He's still looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 2 today, 0 for 15 on the season. Take strike 1. A lot of components to this mechanism that we have to get clicking.
You know, we can sit up here and it's very visible to see too. And everybody to get on the same page. Not even close to getting there at this point so far. We really, you know, there was no time during spring training all the way to now to where we had consistency. We need to just get that going. And I'm saying consistency, I'm talking about as a regular lineup every day, the routines that players get into pre-game. Really hasn't had an opportunity yet to settle in at all.
The ball and 2 strikes to Posednik. Higuchi on deck.
Baseball players like to come to the ballpark, kind of glance at the lineup on the wall, look up and say, okay, same thing day in, day out, instead of staring at trying to see what's new.
Chopper to second. And they turn it. We are halfway home with a 1-0 lead. First pitch to third baseman Mark Teahen. Fastball, foul straight back. 1-0 good guys. Sox with a run in the 4th. Leadoff walk to Thome. Base hit up the middle by Konerko. Thome with the third. Pierzynski struck out, and then the sacrifice fly by Creedy. Change up out in front.
And a reminder, fans, that the 2006 Chicago White Sox are presented by U.S. Cellular.
Here's the shortstop, Baroa. Grounded one in the hole between third and short. Creedy made a diving, nice play, got up and threw him out. Good curveball. That fastball is pulled foul. Very quickly, 0-2 the count to the 28-year-old shortstop.
I was just thinking a little earlier, partner, and the fact that Pablo Ozuna last night in left field. He's not played a lot of outfield, but very tough conditions.
Nice slow curveball popped up. Uribe.
What's your thoughts on somebody at the big league level trying to learn new positions? That's a tough place to learn new positions at the big league level.
And right now, let's take a look at the upcoming WGN TV high definition baseball schedule, sponsored by Comcast. Wednesday afternoon, the Reds at the Cubs. Thursday afternoon, Reds at the Cubs. And Sunday, April 16th, Toronto at US Cellular Field. Want to know the count? Baco struck out. Gets hit on the fist right there in the left field. Pides now coming on. He's there. Makes the catch. Nice inning. 1-2-3 quickly for Vasquez.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Chicago White Sox and may not be reproduced nor retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago White Sox.
Tadahito Higuchi will lead it off here in the top of the 6th inning. Time is called. Higuchi has walked and he has grounded out to Minkiewicz. BG, I didn't hear the last part of your question last time when you were talking about Osuna or somebody having to learn at the major league level a new position. The thing, I don't care who you put out there. as a young player, I don't care if it's Willie Mays or whoever, if you get conditions like you had last night and you're out of position, it's tough enough to play your position when you have a lot of confidence when you're going out there with a wind and a cold like we had last evening.
Well, you played the outfield and first base. Where'd you learn each of those positions? The minor league level, spring training, or at the big league level?
Well, coming up, yeah, I was strictly an outfielder coming up, and then I hurt my arm for a while. I guess today, in today's vernacular or parlance, it would be a rotator cuff type situation. And they put me at first base as there's a strike. And it took me a long time to learn how to play first base. I mean, a long time. It just didn't happen in 1 year or 2 years. There's ball 4. So for the 3rd inning in a row, he walks the leadoff hitter. No, it's tough. You know, as we said in spring training, it's very unusual. First time I've ever seen it, you know, that a club will break with a roster set. You know, you had your 11 pitchers, your 2 catchers, your 9 infielders, and 3 outfielders.
Well, there's the thing. And we have got an overabundance of multi-talented players, but they're not naturally outfielders.
Thome just missed it. High, high, high into left center. Well, Jim now 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored.
Luke Hudson in the bullpen for the Royals.
Yeah, looked good against us in the spring.
Yeah, it's just an interesting thing. You know, you watch this game for so long, you're part of this business for so long, and it's never changed. Whenever you have somebody that has not got a lot of experience in a position, sooner or later it comes back to bite you.
Yeah, that ball's going to find you. There's no question about it. If you're in your own mind not comfortable with where you're going to be, and especially on an evening or a day where conditions were like they were last night, tremendous wind and tremendous cold, then that ball's going to find you. That's just the nature of the game. It's almost like the ball's got a mind of its own. But you know, the nuances of each position, and there are plenty of them. Little tricks of the trade, little things that you learn. And all of a sudden, one day somebody will tell you something and the light comes on, and now you are good at that position. You can play it.
But it really takes, to me, a lot of hours in
yes, it does.
In that position.
That's high into left center. So Paulie now, who has walked and singled, now flies out. 2 down. No, it's I would say that it took me 3.5 years to learn how to become a good first baseman. And the funny thing about it was with a manager who I didn't particularly care for. And he was a first baseman in his career, and he was a good first baseman. And he told me one day, he said, get your behind down, as there goes Iguchi. There's a throw, and they got him easy. So the leadoff walk goes for naught, and we'll go to the bottom of the 6th. Now, as you can see, a discussion at the mound with Bruce Fleming and Ozzie and Vasquez on the mound about the pitching rubber and the dirt around it. So here they're going to come out and they're going to do a little housekeeping.
And while they do a little manicuring of the mound, as a reminder that Friday, April 21st, the White Sox will host the Twins at 7:35. That will be a day of Dog Day, and it's presented by Hills Pet Nutrition, makers of Science Diet and Prescription Diet. Is your pet fit to play ball? Find out by visiting your local VCA veterinarian clinic or logging on to the petfit.com site. Now for tickets, you can go to 866 Sox game or visit whitesox.com. Now the dog section is sold out, but you can still come and enjoy the parade.
Man, this is the 5th pitch that he was throwing in between in his warm-ups. And now Ozzie comes out. He had called him, and now Javier saying, look, what's wrong with my push off here?
It looked like it had gotten all the way down to the rubber. That, folks, if you're not familiar with a pitching rubber, you see the part on the top, the all white rubber area, but about 2 inches or so, 3 inches or so down, there's another little lip to that of rubber. It's like 2 levels, like a step. And it must have gotten down to the point where he was standing on that lower part of the rubber and there was no dirt for him to maneuver with. Let those spikes move around. And come on out, compact it down, get some more in there, and start afresh.
Well, while he's taking some more warm-up tosses, we were talking about the nuances of learning a new position at the major league level. I mentioned it took me about 3.5 years to learn how to play first base. Well, let me tell you, there's some guys that I have seen, and I'm sure the same goes for you. I've seen guys make changes and absolutely take to it like duck to a water.
And that's exactly right.
I mean, they just go over there. There's no problem. They don't have any problems with the different angles that the ball's coming at you. They can move from, if they're in outfield, can move from right to left to right, play center. One of the toughest things that I found is learning to play first base was the angle that the ball was coming at you, because primarily I had been a left fielder.
That's it. Totally different. I have seen many an infielder that played third base or played shortstop or second. All of a sudden you bounce them around from second base to third base. They go, whoa, wait a minute. I can catch a ground ball, but this is totally different off the bat.
Especially on pop-ups.
Oh, man.
So here's the leadoff hitter, Shane Costa. And he fakes the bunt and takes the ball. Costa 1 for 2. He's gone out to left, and he's singled in the hole between first and second. A run on 1 hit, no errors for our Sox. No runs on 2 hits, no errors for the Royals, as there's a souvenir left side. What has become a real nice crowd here this afternoon.
I have even witnessed some of the fans walking around in shorts, and it is just not that warm. It looks like it, but it isn't.
High pop-up. Polly taking charge. Hey, I like that Costa. Just 24 years old. He got a chance.
Career a .304 hitter in the minor leagues. Not a big power guy. We're stolen base guy, but you know, you can hit .304 in your career in a brief minor league career. That's doing something.
He's going to hit some home runs. There's a curveball. Just does hang inside to Grzelcyk. Most home runs he's hit in 1 year, 8. 10 last year.
Combined 3 different places he hit 10. Hey, sometimes it just takes you a little while to find that home run swing, and all of a sudden the ball starts jumping off your bat a little different. Change the angle of that bat coming to the baseball and start driving it over the fence.
Checks it up, takes it down low. 2-1. Toronto leading Tampa Bay 8-4. Top of the 7th at Skydome. Grzelcyk now 2 for 3. And that breaks a streak of 9 consecutive retired by Vasquez, as here is Mike Sweeney. Sweeney been to the plate twice. Struck out swinging on a fastball, struck out swinging on a slow curveball. Grzelcyk, pretty good lead.
Javier Vasquez, a good time for him to make sure. I think start Sweeney off with a ball somewhere close, but see how he is timing his pitch.
Didn't want to do that. Right in the elbow, it looked like. So we got 1 out, 2 on.
All right.
If you're just joining us, this is the first inning that the Royals have had 2 guys reach. So here's Sanders. He has popped to short and struck out. Make a good pitch in this sequence right here. Javier. Fastball upstairs, couldn't get it.
Well, generally you walk up there in a situation like this, you know a pitcher wants to get that ground ball double play. Sometimes you're not thinking about the high fastball. First thing you do is you just see it and you go after it, just reacting.
Just a little bit higher on that one, and the count evens at 1. Outfield, they are straight up and spread out for the 38-year-old veteran. Another fastball. 2-1. Mientkiewicz on deck. Second of a 3-game series. Royals took the opener last night 11-7 after the Sox led it 6-0 after 3 innings. That ball is hammered into the gap. And they're going to wave Sweeney around. Go to the plate, not in time. It is 2-1 Royals.
Just kept going at him hard with the fastball. Take a look at the pitch sequence. Fastball up, right by him. Away. That one up high. This one away. And then right there. And the sweet spot for Reggie Sanders, down and in.
Don Cooper out to talk to Vasquez, and here's Inski listening in.
Well, this has definitely been a well-pitched and dominated game from both sides. The problem is, that was the 4th hit for the Royals. Sox only have 1.
Well, here's Mientkiewicz. He has grounded to short, and he's gone out to left. I mentioned he is swinging the bat well. Curveball goes around the plate.
One thing about Minkiewicz in a situation like this, you know he's not going to overswing. He just wants to drive in a run. I think he's the kind of hitter that has a bit better focus when there's a man in scoring position.
Change up, strike.
I pointed out earlier that he only had 29 runs better than last season with 11 home runs. So he's a guy that swings for the fences only when there's usually somebody not on base.
And that fastball upstairs. Emil Brown on deck as the 2-1 delivery. Pops him up. Playable. Creedy.
And fans, through Chicago White Sox Charities online auction, you can purchase unique White Sox memorabilia and experiences, including the chance to be the honorary bad boy or girl on Friday, May 19th, when the White Sox face the Cubs. Visit WhiteSox.com to place your bid today.
Emil Brown. He has walked, picked up a stolen base, and he's gone out to center. Big hack of the breaking balls. Talking with Makoviak about Brown last night. Brown played with the Pirates and Makoviak for a couple of seasons there. Bob said this guy's got a ton of talent. Just a ton of talent. And of course last year started to come out. Had a good season for the Royals. Watch out, that broken bat. Into right field. Rob is there, makes the catch, that'll retire the side, but the 2-run double by Reggie Sanders, and we'll go to the 7th, trailing 2-1. And right now it's time to have a ball with the Illinois Lottery. And remember, you can't win unless you play. DJ.
I might start. You just never know. Feeling lucky. And we have ourselves a pitching change here in this 2-1 lead for the Kansas City Royals. Luke Hudson has come on for Denny Batista. A nice job Batista did. Just one hit through his 6 innings worth of work, along with the 1 run. And between innings, Javier Vasquez and Freddie Garcia having a little talk. More than likely discussing the fact of what took place against Reggie Sanders.
Well, here's a guy that's glad to see Bautista out of there, A.J. Pierzynski. 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts and appeared to have no chance.
Yeah. One of those days where, as Hawk pointed out earlier, sometimes you just can't figure it out, period.
There's a bullet by Grudzielanek.
Well, that's all that man needed was for Batista to be gone, and he puts his best swing of the day together to get a hit.
And here's Joe Creedy. Joe just missed one in second, and he killed it. At that time, the wind was really howling in from left. He knocked it down. Then in the 4th, he drove in Tomey with a sacrifice fly in the deep center. Takes first pitch, strike.
No question, this has been a day where you want to hit it through the wind on the line, not high and deep.
Two 4-0 for Kansas City, 1-2-0 for our guys. Curveball, good one. Now Joe has got to cinch it up, hunker down, 0-2 the count. As you look at the southpaw, Jimmy Gobble.
A good sign if you think about 2 hits in this game. It took us 13 batters to get 1 against Batista before we finally did just 1 to get. That's a shot over Joey's head. It took us 1 hitter to get hit against Hudson. That's why they probably quickly got the left-hander Gobble up.
Outfield for the most part straight up. And the count 1-2.
Oh, take a look at Joey Cora. Not much time to move down there. I know this much. In the 3 years that Joey has been down there, I don't remember him being hit. Harold down at first base, been there 2 months, been hit twice. Somebody needs to coach Harold on how to coach down there.
That ball hit in the right center field. Reggie Sanders is back there, makes the catch. O'Grady has been hitting the ball well, swinging the bat very well.
And unfortunately, that ball slicing back towards the right fielder, giving Sanders the opportunity to run and catch up to it. Ball was hit nicely, but needed to start that one away from the center fielder.
Here's Makoviak. Bob is lined hard to center and struck out. Off the glove, but Grudzielanek is right there as it caroms. It's a 3-4-3 out. That's bad luck. No, it's symptomatic.
Yes, it is. As first of all, we're catching a break because Mientkiewicz doesn't come up with it. But then he quickly realizes the second baseman's behind him and gets back over to the bag in time for the throw.
Uribe. Juan grounded to third and threw a base on balls. Good curveball. We saw that good curveball out in Arizona from Hudson, which is tough to do out there. Checks it up, 1-1. Come on, Juan. Right man, right place, right time.
Juan Uribe in this situation, and we've talked about the last couple of years, has a little bit better focus because he has a job to do, trying to bring in a base runner. He's looking for a fastball to drive.
That ball hit hard. But up in that wind knocks it down. Any other day, that is way out of here. Meanwhile, it's an out and 7th inning stretch. Royals by 1. White Sox baseball is brought to you by Miller. There's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call. And right now, let's check out our Miller Major League scoreboard. There you see Toronto on top of Tampa Bay 8-4. That game in the 8th inning, and the rest of them on a roll. Right here at Coppin Stadium in Kansas City, we are in the bottom of the 7th inning. 2-4-0 for the Royals, 1-2-0 for our Sox. As first pitch, curveball downstairs to Mark Teahen. It'll be the lower third of the Royal order here in the 7th. Teahen, Baroa, and Baco. There's a curveball strike. Mark is struck out and he is grounded to second.
Javier Vasquez, one thing we're going to have to get accustomed to is the fact that he's going to go deep in a lot of games. I don't know him all that well yet, but 5 out of the last 6 seasons he's gone 200 or more innings. In the 1 year he didn't go 200 100+ innings. He threw 198.
Pull a string on him right there. Good motion with that changeup. Jammed him, pops him up. Uribe.
Fans, a reminder that U.S. Cellular presents Win a Jersey Wednesdays. Every Wednesday home game, you can receive a jersey autographed by Sox players or coaches. For game tickets.
Baroa goes through it. He's 0 for 2. Creedy made a real good play on him his first at bat. Curveball and count 2 strikes.
Javier does a real good job. As you see, Neil Cott's up in the bullpen now, starting that big breaking ball right at the hip of right-handed hitters, and they freeze.
Fastball, souvenir right side. As I mentioned, the second of this 3-game series. The second of this 7-day, 6-game road trip. We'll finish up with 3 in Detroit. And the finale here tomorrow. Mark Burley against the big right-hander Scott Ellerton. That game will be over Comcast Sportsnet. There's a nice piece of hitting by Baroa.
As a pitcher, sometimes you got to just tip your hat, and that's one of those times. It made good pitches against Baroa in this at bat. This is a nice one also. What are you going to do?
That'll bring up the catcher, Scott. They'll check that Paul Bacco. Outfield for the most part spread out straight up. Greedy off the line as he chases that good changeup from Vasquez.
And Bacco stepping way out of the batter's box to regroup after that swing. Appeared like he was just guessing first pitch fastball and waving at the changeup away. Definitely got to clear the cobwebs out of your head when you're that far off.
Another changeup.
Now, after you did clear your thought process and still not even close to catching up the changeup, you realize you got some problems.
Another changeup. 3 in a row, and he gone. So with 2 outlets, pause for station identification.
This is America's home for sports all year round. Superstation WGN.
On with Darren Jackson, Ken Harrelson from Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. As here is the leadoff hitter, Shane Costa, in center field for David DeJesus, who's nursing a sore hamstring.
If I'm Pierzynski and Javier Vasquez right now, I don't change a thing. I go after Costa, see if he wants to offer that good changeup down.
Vasquez has walked 1, has 6 strikeouts. There's a fastball strike. There's a 6'10" southpaw, 270 pounds. Andrew Cisco. And he throws hard.
Now, you don't usually see big guys that actually throw the ball the way they're built. He's big and strong, and he throws it hard.
Shane Costa 1 for 3 this afternoon. 2 for 6 on the season with a homer. Double-barreled activity. Cliff Polite. Neil Kotz. Long look in, now the set.
Well, they showed him the changeup down. He didn't even come close to blinking at it. So that's a little bit of a tell on Costa's part. He's seeing the ball a little bit better than Paul Bacco was.
Oh, just a decent lead over there. And there's that good motion with that change. 2 out, 1 and 2 the count to Costa.
Nice job as that time Vasquez just brought it up into the strike zone. As a hitter, you say to yourself, he's keeping the changeup down out of the strike zone, lay off of it. And then all of a sudden it's coming right down the middle of the plate. You think, oh, here's a fastball. He just made the adjustment with the location of the pitch, did Vasquez.
Tried to sneak that fastball by and fouls it back, and it's into the seats.
A good hitter, you know it, Hawk, is always ready to protect against that fastball.
Is there any other pitch?
No, but I'll tell you watch enough hitters stand there day in and day out taking fastballs right down the middle after a good off-speed pitch as if they had no idea the guy might sneak it up there.
Well, gave a pretty good fake right there. Did not go. Sox with just 2 hits if you're just tuning in, scoring that 1 run. That was in the 4th inning. Line on Danny Bautista, 6 innings, 1 run, 1 hit, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts.
I like what Javier's doing. You know, he's not giving in to any pace of the game or anything like that. He wants to make sure he does the right thing. Doesn't just allow that runner to get in scoring position, have a single scoring.
Well, anytime you do what he's doing right now, if it's in a positive fashion, it's good. If it's not, change up. He gone. And that'll retire the side. We're into the 8th.
Time right now to take a look at our Toyota game summary as it's a low scoring affair. 2-1 Royals on top. The sac fly by Joe Crede in the 4th. Then Reggie Sanders got a fastball and delivered a 2-run double to give the Royals the lead in the 6th. New pitcher for KC. Big hard throwing Andy Cisco.
Ryan Anderson 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts will lead it off. Fastball upstairs. 6'10", 270 pounds. And the count 2-0. Don't help him out. As a rule, the bigger they are, the longer it takes them to get sharp. There's a strike.
Cisco, a Rule 5 draft pickup for the Royals out of the Cubs minor league system.
That ball hammered. Nobody's going to get that one. Attaboy, Brian. Starts it off with a two-bagger.
Nice job getting the Sox an opportunity to get right back in this late in this game as the fourth drive of the game coming off of the bat. Brian Anderson getting the offense started. Leadoff double. Got to get him over, get him in.
Oh, the second double of the season for Brian, and here's Posednik. Corners in close. And Cavage, that first, very aggressive. From what we've seen at Tien, he's got a chance to be aggressive as well at third. There's a bunt. And that's foul. Oh, and 1 to count. Pod's 0 for 3 in this game. He's popped to third, grounded to third, and then hit into a 4-6-3 double play. Come on, Pods, we need you right here, buddy. Watch out. Ball gets by Baroa, but not far enough.
Hopefully Brian Anderson all right. Angel Baroa on that throw blocked him out from the base. Down low. You see his whole body is laying in front of the bag, so Brian Anderson can't get back there. Easy way to jam your wrist and hand into a knee. As a base runner, you can only let that happen once. Next time you get out there, go back cleats flying.
That's exactly right. That'll cure him of that. One and two the count. Trying to get out and around, and he did too much. Big spot in a big game right here. Well, it seemed like last year every time we needed this, it was almost automatic. Look at this. He's going to get it done with a base hit. Pokes it out there into left field. So runners at the corners, nobody out. And here comes Higuchi.
Not the conventional way of getting it done. It doesn't matter. All that counts as a Posednik battled with 2 strikes and got himself a base hit and the man over to third with nobody out.
His first hit of the season off a big, hard throwing 6'10 southpaw. Now
they're having themselves a meeting on the mound. So there's a reminder, fans, that on April 17th through the 19th, the White Sox host these Royals. Great seats still available. For game tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com. Yeah, that's going to be, as you see, an exciting series. I think there's going to be some rivalries developed this year within the Central.
Tadahito is 0 for 1 with a couple of walks. And Scott got a big lead over there. Long set. Now the back off.
Now Tadahito was the best situational hitter we had overall last year. Knows he needs to bounce it over to that hole on the right side or drive it out in the right field.
That's a big pitch in this sequence. First pitch, whether it's 1-0-0-1, and it is 1-0.
Now the Royals at double play depth. They're not thinking about Anderson at third. I want to see if they can get Iguchi just to roll over on one.
One and one the count to Iguchi. Jim Thome on deck. Elmer descends, who worked in yesterday's ball game, starting to loosen up in a hurry. For Konerko. Big swing right there by Tadahito. And the count 1-2.
Yeah, it looks like Iguchi knows they're trying to work him over inside, wanted to catch up to a fastball. They're hoping that'll be the case instead of how he hits the ball the other direction so well.
Just underneath that one.
Actually had a good pitch to get it done right there. Supposed to be in, was over the majority of the plate.
And another souvenir. Another big lead by Pasednik. Brian, just a short lead down there at third. That's up high, 2-2. Little Tadahito Iguchi against the 6'10" southpaw. And it's full. Nice and easy. 15. Nice and easy. Not too much. Stay on top of him. Stay on top of him. There goes Scott. High pop up. And a big out for the Royals. And here comes Thome.
Big pitch by Cisco. Iguchi battling, working the count to full, and he had to throw a strike right there. And he gets the pop up.
Jimmy today is 0 for 2 with a walk, and he has scored our only run. Well, in a way, I'm sort of glad that that ball was popped up. Scott did not get that good a jump. Vaco had a good chance of throwing him out if there would have been a strikeout. That ball hit hard, driven deep into left field. It's off the fence as here comes Brian. He'll score. Pods into third on the double by Thome, and this game is tied at 2. Yes.
Boy, Jim Thome went after a high fastball on the first pitch from Cisco. He noticeably raises his hands higher so he can stay atop the pitch, and does come down through a fastball thigh high. Nice adjustment by Jim Thome. Unfortunately for the Sox, this carom is played perfectly by Emil Brown. No chance for the speedy Pasednik to score. Even with the aggressive third base coach Joey Cora, he had to hold him.
Boy, that ball was scalded by Thome.
On a day where we have seen a whole bunch of baseballs hit as hard as can be into left and center field go nowhere, Thome just hit a line drive the other direction, right off that 385 mark.
Right through it.
Man.
So now they had a discussion about Konerko with Pierzynski on deck. And they're going to go ahead and load him up with the intentional walk to Paulie.
Well, I haven't seen the old fake the hitter pitch out in a long time. They would go ahead and put an arm out and then fastball right down the middle with the hitter unsuspecting.
Got to have 2 strikes on him first, though.
Yeah, they'll usually do that. Within an account, say a wild pitch, a man moves from first to second.
Dick Williams was infamous for that. So now Sox packed with Sox. 1 down, and here comes AJ. He's 1 for 3. Last time up, just smoked a single. A bullet past Grudzielanek into right field for the base hit.
Normally, I like to see AJ stay into left center field against left-handers. But Cisco with that good firm fastball, you don't want to try and just lay back on him. You got to get the barrel going.
Breaking ball strike. Last thing in the world AJ was thinking about, and don't blame him. Boy, that's some kind of big first pitch right there. Getting the breaking ball over. Get your wheels turning. Minkiewicz bobbles the ball. Safe at home, and the Sox lead it 3-2. Made a heck of a stop. Couldn't find the ears.
And at the same time, he completely deked Grudzielanek. It looked like he wanted to go to the plate, and unfortunately, when he couldn't get the throw off, unfortunately for the Royals, that is, Grudzielanek gave up and never tried to cover first base, as no one there when he turns the fire to first base. So the Sox catch a big break on the chopper in the infield.
And they have given, I should say, AJ a base hit on that and an RBI. So breaking the action now. We'll be back. Elmer descends to Joe Crede with the Sox packed here. 1 out. Top of the 8th inning. Sox leading 3-2. Checks it up and takes ball 1.
This is one of the biggest things I have to get used to from spring training until the regular season is back-to-back days with guys coming out of that bullpen, because there's not 15 of them down there like during the spring. See what Descends did last night.
Joe is 0 for 2. He has swung the bat well today. Has a sacrifice fly and a good rip right there just underneath it.
He has hit the ball 3 times today on the button. Matter of fact, the productive out he made in this game, the sacrifice fly, he just reached out and flicked it, but hit a missile to deep center field.
1 out and the 1-1 pitch. Now he's got to cinch it up and bristle up. Bob Makoviak on deck. Foul straight back just beneath us.
I think all White Sox fans have learned about Joe Crede. He can take a couple of bad swings in at bat and then just completely shock everybody by laying into a pitch Anybody in our lineup does that more, you'll have to point him out to me.
Ball hit down to third base, up with it, over to Grudzielanek, and they'll turn it. But the Sox come up with a pair. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th, leading by 1.
Sox on top 3-2 as we enter the bottom of the 8th inning. 2 runs in that top half of the frame. And Cliff Polita has come on in this ball game, his last appearance Wednesday versus the Indians. Did a very nice job. What a job, though, by Javier Vasquez this afternoon, giving up the 2 runs. But along the way, this walked 1 while striking out 7. That's right, 7 for Vasquez in 7 innings. Allowed the 5 hits. But he is nasty, folks, and your first regular season opportunity to watch Javier. I think we're going to have fun all season long, and we also have a guy that could contend for the strikeout, American League strikeout lead on the year.
So here's Grudzielanek to face Cliff Polita. He is 2 for 3 today, a double, a single, and a run scored. He is 4 for 7 in the series. 35-year-old infielder Mark Grudzielanek. Takes that fastball off the outside corner. 3-6-0 for our guys, 2-5-0 for the Royals. Grady guarding the line at third. A step and a half back of the bag. There's a strike. And the count 1-1. Outfield way around to the right. And the count 1-2. While we have a moment, I want to sound a big hello and love you to my beautiful wife Eris, who's feeling a little under the weather.
Well, you're not kidding, Eris. A lot of love up here from the booth. I hope you're feeling better.
One and 2. Slider. Mike Sweeney, I should say, not Mark. Mike Sweeney on deck. And Reggie Sanders in the hole. Grudzielanek looks like he just shoves the bat at the ball.
He has never had a pretty swing, just good results.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you look at him and the plate and you say, this guy's not impressive at all. All of a sudden you watch him play a few games. After he gets finished hanging out line drives.
Kind of reminds me a bit of Paul Molitor in that sense. Never had a pretty swing or approach, but he could rake.
So his 3rd hit of the game. He just fisted that one out there.
He's a tough out. Grudzielanek. See, not much movement. Just leaves that bat up there high, and a short swing. It just does, as Hawk mentioned, look like he's pushing at the ball.
So here's Sweeney, 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch. He also scored a run. Could not check it up. Looking gas. First pitch, got the slider.
And one thing about Cliff Polita last year and this season so far in spring training and up to now, his control has just been outstanding. He has Throwing that slider just off the outside corner to right-handers. Fastball, able to throw it to the four corners of the strike zone.
Good check right there by Sweeney. 1-1 to count.
That never seems to fail. You have close ball games. You get into the 8th and 9th innings, and you have to face the heart of the lineup. Royals had to do it last inning, and Jim Thome, big blow. Brzezinski got the infield hit. Now we've got to go through their heart of the lineup.
Take him right here, Cliff.
One thing you don't want to try and do, I've learned this over the years of watching Sweeney, is trying to sneak that fastball up when he's ready for it. If he's ready for a high fastball, he is all over it, as good as anybody in the game.
2-2 the count, and a big pitch coming up.
I like the approach that Javier Vasquez had. Slow, slow, and slower. Good breaking stuff.
You missed that if you're just tuning in. Javier Vasquez was solid out there, just outstanding today. So a pretty good lead by Grudzielanek. He does not go, and that ball is foul. The 32-year-old veteran Mike Sweeney has been a Sox killer. Two of the biggest Sox killers in the last 7 or 8 years in this ballpark today. One of them was Sweeney, and the other, thank goodness, is in our uniform.
Jim Thome.
Sweeney trying to stay on it. Got a fastball right there, and a little bit tardy. Well, we started off last year this way, playing some close ball games and exciting games. We won those this year. We've been losing a couple of these close ones, and we got ourselves another one right here. That ball hit deep. That ball hit deep. And it is 4-3 as Mike Sweeney continues to just kill our White Sox.
And Mike Sweeney hit it about the only way you can to get it out of here today. Low and hard. Like a changeup from Polite, and Sweeney, a line shot out of here.
Well, here is Reggie Sanders. He's 1 for 3, but it was a big one. 2-run double in the 6th.
Now these Royals are much improved. Nobody had better take them for granted this year.
Four 7-0 for Kansas City, 3-6-0 for our guys. Yes, he did. And the count 1-2.
On this ball game for the White Sox today, it's just been a matter of a couple of pitches seriously hurting. Reggie Sanders got the fastball down and in from Javier Vasquez and missed the location where Javi really wanted it to go, and he drilled it. And then the changeup that Sweeney just did a nice job adjusting to.
High. Paulie is there, makes the catch. 1 out. For the Sox schedule hitters in the top of the 9th inning, lower third of the order, Makoviak, Uribe, and Anderson. So Cliff Polite will depart. Neil Kotz comes on air. We'll be back.
Taking a look at the numbers on Neil Kotz on Wednesday versus Cleveland. 2 innings, 3 hits, a run, a walk, and a strikeout. Looks to get the second out in the form of Doug Mientkiewicz.
Mientkiewicz 0 for 3 today. Takes ball 1.
Well, that's a shame, as Javier Vasquez, what a great job today, which we needed to see from one of our starters. And that pitch by Cliff Polite, changeup, was not in a terrible location. It was down just above the kneecaps. Mike Sweeney, he's good.
He made a terrific adjustment there. Well, you got to. That ball hit hard but foul. As I said, you got to have a certain level of strength. Not everybody's going to hit that ball out of the ballpark. Ball has not been carrying well at all here today, especially early on in the first 4 innings of the ball game. And the count 2-2 to Mientkiewicz. As I mentioned, schedule hitters in the 9th for our guys: Makoviak, Uribe, and Brian Anderson. Mientkiewicz swung the bat good against us in spring training. And then last night swung the bat well, even though he did not get any hits. Oh, that's a good pitch right there.
That's a pretty good little slider from Neil Kotz. That A.J. Pierzynski, you're going to watch his reaction. He is up and ready to toss it around. Bruce Fleming not buying it.
That's a strike. That ball popped up. Short center. 2 down.
And taking a look at Mike Sweeney this afternoon. His at bats, fastball blown by him, and then a slow curveball that Vasquez had him out in front. Was hit by a pitch, and then his last swing he took. Changeup from Polite. Wow.
Emo Brown with a 1-0 count.
Sweeney has that certain level that he can take it to with the game on the line.
2-0. Brown has walked, picked up a stolen base, gone out to center and gone out to right. And the count 3-1 with Mark Teahen on deck. Paulie. They're not getting in front of it. So Brown will move into second base. The ball was smoked.
Yes, it was. You just don't see that very often either. A hot smash off the bat of a right-hander right at the first baseman like that.
That's a first baseman's nightmare.
It happens so rare. Really becomes a thing of, as a first baseman, you can't anticipate it. Even though you're supposed to and you know it can come to you, it's still a shock. And going to be scored an error right through Konerko.
So Paulie picks up his first error of the season, and already he has made some terrific plays defensively down there, but that was just a rocket, and it's got that spin on it, and you don't know what to do. It just shocks you.
Oh yeah, you could tell Paulie had nowhere to go. He pretty much right in his stance just dropped down and tried to get some of that, as Brown absolutely killed it. You'll see that off of the bat more so from a left-hander down to third base. Third baseman anticipating it more than a first baseman.
So here's Teahen. He has struck out. Bounced to second, popped to short. Won the count to the 24-year-old third baseman. Yeah, when the ball is hit that hard by a right-handed hitter down to first base, I'll tell you, he's just lucky he didn't take a bad hop, because if it takes a bad hop, I've taken him off the chest, this knee, side of the face.
And it's strange how, you know, as an infielder you're ready, yet you still can't get set for something like that.
No. And the thing about it was, is, believe me, if I could have got out of the way, I'd have got out of the way.
Yeah.
I just didn't have time to get out of the way. As Teahen goes through it, and then the count 2-2. If I could have olayed it, I would have.
Yeah, totally different thought process right now, though, with Teahen up there and Paul Konerko being the first baseman. He's anticipating the hot smash coming at him.
It's a 180-degree difference. He gone. Gas. But the two-run homer by Sweeney. We'll go to the ninth. We need a run to tie.
There you see a 4-3 lead. 2 runs top of the 8th for the Sox. Royals come right back with 2 more to get back on top. Andy Cisco out of there, and the closer, Ambiorix Burgos, last night pitched 1 inning, gave up a hit, a walk, but no runs, as Rob Makoviak will try and get the offense kick-started here in the 9th inning.
He is 0 for 3. Juan Uribe on deck. Brian Anderson in the hole. As the Sox trying to keep from losing their 4th in a row as he takes that fastball downstairs. Big hack right through it. 1-1. And that's chopped foul down past Harold Baines. So Ambiorix Burgos on top in the count to Makoviak, 1-2. Once again, a reminder, finale of the series tomorrow afternoon. Mark Burley against Scott Ellerton. That game will be over Comcast Sportsnet. Two and two the count. $18,031. Watch out. 18,031 in attendance. It has been a beautiful day, but started off very cold, not chilly. It was cold. Then about the 5th inning, the wind died down a little bit, and it has not been too bad. Everything except the score. Checks it up. Full count.
It really looks like one thing we have in the White Sox batting order this year is they're going to have a lot of at-bats where they battle, foul some pitches off, and go deep into counts.
We've seen it so far. One out.
Nasty pitch by Burgos. And one on the outside corner. And that's just an ace.
Plus, it on the gun here was at 97. So here's your rebate. One 0 for 2 with a walk. One had 3 hits in that ball game last night. He was 3 for 5. Back in the 7th, he just killed one into deep left center field. Normal day up in that water fountain. And the count 0-2. Ross Slota's come out to hit for Brian Anderson.
Burgos just nailing the outside corner on 2 straight batters.
Now, we talked about him last night. He's got such a good arm. And if he's going to have anywhere close to good control, he's going to be something. As here's Globe.
Brian was 1 for 3. Started off that 2-run 8th
with a double. Ripped into the gap in right center. This should do it. Shane Costa. So the Royals have won 2 in a row as they come back. Sox scored 2 in the top of the 8th to take a 3-2 lead, and a 2-run homer by Mike Sweeney as they win it 4-3. And we'll be back.
Just when it looks like stuff is out of my reach, there's McDonald's Dollar Menu. Double cheeseburgers, fries, and more for just $1 each. Puts it all right back where it belongs.
Time right now to take a look at the Miller Genuine Draft Player of the Game. It's Mike Sweeney with the man aboard, a 2-run home run, his first of the season, putting the Kansas City Royals ahead to stay.
And the final totals in game 2 of this 3-game set for the Royals. 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors. They left 5. For our Sox, 3 runs, 6 hits, 1 error. We left 6. The winner descends. He's 1-0. Cliff Fleet takes the loss. He is 0-1. And credit Burgos with his first save of the season. And a reminder, our next White Sox telecast will be Friday night when the Sox take on the Toronto Blue Jays from U.S. Cellular Field. Our broadcast begins at 7:30 p.m. over WCIU TV. Now, WGN Superstation viewers, tune in Sunday, April 16th when the Sox and the Jays conclude their 3-game series in Chicago. Join us at 1 p.m. for all the action right here over WGN TV. So for my partner, DJ Darren Jackson, for our director, Jim Angio, for our producer, John Walgren, for our state manager, up here, Sherry, and also Joe Groove down in the truck. This is a Hawk, Ken Harrelson. So long, everybody.
World Champion Chicago White Sox Baseball is brought to you by Miller. There's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call. Toyota, a great way to keep moving forward. Pepsi, the official soft drink of the world champion Chicago White Sox. Comcast, catch the home games on WGN and HDTV on Comcast. Call for a great offer. And by Southwest Airlines. Whether you're traveling for business or pleasure, Southwest can get you there with over 3,000 nonstop daily flights to over 60 destinations. Visit southwest.com today.